over 30 years, Point of Grace has shared music, faith, and friendship with listeners across the country. Now Denise, Lee, and Shelley are inviting you into their circle. Welcome to Circle of Friends, the podcast.
It's Point of Grace.
Each week they're talking real life, current events, stories of true friendship, wisdom from God's Word, and all their favorite things. If you're looking for a little company, a few laughs, and a lot of Jesus to hold it together, Circle of Friends, the podcast is waiting for you. Subscribe now wherever you listen or watch podcasts, and circle up with Point of Grace.
You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaiah Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaiah Reed.
Today, Elizabeth Webb. She is a transformation coach with over 20 years of experience helping women, leaders, and creatives not just move from survival mode to a life that is actually feeling good again, but she also is going to drop us some gems with her new book, recent book that we're going to be talking about, Made for Magic. And I have a little cover right here for you guys to kind of see what we are working with. And it's, there you go.
Boom.
There you go. That is the cover. So, practical guide from survival mode to soul satisfying joy. Author Elizabeth Webb. I want to say thank you because, man, being a technical director and doing interview at the same time can get tricky sometimes when the mouse goes away. But to cut to the chase, welcome to the show. I know you have a free gift for our viewers and listening audience. You can get a free chapter that's available, madeformagicbook.com. So without further ado, I want to say to Elizabeth, thank you for your patience. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. And I like to tell people it's okay to feel a couple different things at the same time, right? Like I'm doing fabulous because I'm here and sharing my thoughts and my lights with you, my light. And also I'm in a really stressful life moment too. Like both things are coexisting, and I feel excited to be here today with you.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time off your calendar to chop it up with us today. Let's talk about your book and the process of writing it. Obviously, you found that this was a good need for readers to appreciate. So what sparked the interest to say, you know what, this is a project I really wanted to put out there?
Oh, gosh. So I've been speaking for years to groups of women, also groups of men and women. And every time I would speak, people would say, do you have a book? Do you have a book? Where's your book? And I have ADHD like so many of us do now. I feel that's pretty common. And the thought of sitting down solo with a computer and locking myself away sounded just horrible. Working on an extended project that required focus, it just sounded like the most painful thing ever. But about 3 years ago, I decided to get over my restrictions around that, to get over my excuses, and to really put my knowledge and my client stories and my family stories and my personal stories in one place, where this is a manual and a guidebook for life that I would hand to my future daughter. I would hand to women in my family. I would hand it to a past or future version of myself, because it's really like, how do we do this life of ours in a way that feels true to our soul and is really energy giving in an energy sucking world. This world is not set up to be life-giving. You know, many of us find our energy or our life-givingness from God or from source, because we know the earthly plane is not where it's at. This is a world of problems and to-do lists and pain. Of course, there's beautiful moments too. But I really wanted to create a guidebook that put all of the wisdom that I've learned in one place, so that I got this was my first copy that they sent me, that would be a game changer for women. And I intended it for women that had seen enough of life to feel disillusioned and had gotten a bit serious about it all, and from this wise and seasoned place, keep that, but go back and be like, you know what, that spark that I had before I learned all of this and had to be so strong, let me go back and get that too. And how exactly do I do that? So the book really answers that question. And I'm surprised, but also happy that a lot of men have been reading this book too. They're like, let me get inside that female brain and see like what women really need, or how do I help the women in my life? And then they end up getting a lot for themselves too. I would say a lot of men are reading this book.
Oh, shoot. If you really want to get into that and get a free chapter that's available, once again, like I said earlier, go to her website for the book. It is madeformagicbook.com. With your experience working with clients across the United States and internationally, you also focus your work on clarity, boundaries, and power communication. So my next question kind of set up the framework of the book. When you think about relationship contracts, many of them are invisible. In your book, you explain this. So walk us through, our audience. What do you really mean by relationship contracts being invisible? And also what you say to women out there who feel stuck without realizing what's actually draining them?
Oh, totally. Thank you for asking, because the idea of relational contracts, it sounds legal. It sounds weird. You're like, I don't even have those. Maybe you think you don't have relational contracts. Yes, you do. We all do. So a relational contract is an agreement that you're in with people in your life when you're in a pattern with them. So that pattern could be that person is always 20 minutes late, and you are always on time, and that's okay. You might say, well, no, it's not okay. It's actually not okay with me, but you've created this relational contract with them every time you wait for them for 20 minutes and you're still there and you don't say anything. So it's these patterns that we fall into. It could be a broader one, could be, I'm the strong one, you're the weak one. Or you lean on me, or I lean on you. You're the strong one and I'm the weak one, and I lean on you. I go to you for support. I go to you for support, right? And we all have these relational contracts sometimes that are out of balance. The ideal relationship is reciprocal, right? There's energy that's flowing back and forth. Nothing's ever equal, but hopefully it's worth it. Right? We want to choose relationships that feel worth it. There's never tit for tat. It's never 100% 50-50 with anyone. But these relationships that feel fulfilling and worth it, that's what we want. And it's just really good to identify what relational contracts you're in so that you can powerfully choose, does that work for me? You know, am I okay with this long-standing dynamic of me being the strong one and this person only leaning on me? Or I've noticed with this person every single time, I'm not even talking about a dating or romantic relationship context right now, but let's say it's a friend. Every single time you go out to dinner, you're the one that picks up the check. Maybe you're okay with that relational contract because maybe you make more, they make less. Maybe it balances out in other ways, but it's just good to look at these relational contracts, realize that these ongoing patterns are actually contracts that are unspoken, and the ones that are the most life-draining for you, that really feel out of alignment with who you are, I would shine a spotlight on those and go, you know what? I want to keep this relationship. If you do want to keep that relationship, I want to keep this relationship, but this part drains my energy, drains my life force, creates resentment for me. So I'm going to have a clear, empowered communication about it, which would be a standards or a boundary conversation. We can go into how to have one of those if you want. And then uphold the boundary.
And once again, listen to Refocus Radio, watching us online, listen to us wherever you get podcasts or radio station. We want to say to our guest, Elizabeth Webb, thank you for giving our audience and viewers a gift, because we said earlier, get your free chapter. I'm plugging that throughout the whole show, man. Madeformagicbook.com. So it's hard for you to forget. You never going to forget that. Madeformagicbook.com. It just flows real good.
You're never going to forget.
Talk about boundaries. Well, boundaries comes with self-awareness. So when you are aware of how you measure, okay, this is my threshold of I had enough of this, or I want more of this. Kind of break that down for the audience. How do you actually, in the book, make it clear for readers to understand those signals when they come and go?
Absolutely. So I will say a hot take. And the hot take is, in an area where you have resentment, there are boundaries being crossed. So think of an area right now where you have resentment. There are boundaries being crossed, or there's standards not being met, and it has been ongoing. And I would challenge that you are most likely allowing it in an ongoing way. So we are made for magic, which means we are made to be full of life, full of energy. And it's really hard to feel that way when we are carrying the heaviness of resentment, maybe in many areas of our life. But for right now, let's just take on one, right? We're talking about interpersonal relationships. So when a boundary is crossed over and over again, what happens is a heaviness that feels like resentment. That resentment can turn into all kinds of things, including disease, including rage, or complete loss of a relationship. It could just, you could implode, or you could totally withdraw from that person. And I would say before you get to those places, which is a worst case scenario, again, shine a spotlight on it and go, what about this has not been working for me? What exactly? Not how do you feel about it? Okay, so you feel resentful, angry, sad, stuck, pissed off, whatever it is that you feel, but what is it exactly that's not working? And how have you enabled it? Get really clear. How have you enabled it? Because these dances are co-created, and it happens on our watch. And sometimes people will push back and say, no, I didn't have a choice. No, I didn't have a choice. And I'm like, okay, well, let's handle the part of it that is your choice. How did you participate? And then really take back choice in this area, right? You could say in a familial situation, you could say, I'm the only one stepping up to handle things with my mom. I have 6 siblings, but I'm the only one stepping up to handle. I would say you're choosing to step up, right? That's really aggressive for some people. They're like, no, I'm not choosing. I have to. I'm like, well, if you use the word choose right there, that shift will make you feel a little bit more empowered about it. You're choosing to step up. You might feel like it was put upon you, but you are choosing it. So first, realizing that we are actually choice. You chose to step up. Have you asked for help? Or have you just absorbed it all and been like, they should know? So it's really dissecting things so that you can see what are the contracts that I'm playing out. And then it's having these empowered conversations. And I have a whole chapter on empowered relationships. I have a whole chapter on empowered romance, but I have a whole chapter on empowered relationships, because being able to identify what's not working and then with clarity saying, hey, you might not even realize that I've absorbed the level of work that I've absorbed, but I am burned out and I really don't want to get to a place of resentment where I pull away from this relationship completely. Can we please talk about this? I need help. This is what this looks like. This is what this doesn't look like. And then the other person might say, no, I'm not going to help you. Or they might say, oh my God, I had no idea. Like, what does this look like? Like, what exactly do you need? And not just like, I need more help, like having specifics so that people know how to support if they are willing and able. So it's noticing these areas where you're pissed off, and you might not know that there's a boundary that's getting crossed because you might not even have that language, right? But there's a line in the sand that keeps getting crossed that's not okay with you. That's where this resentment usually comes from. Then it's being like, okay, I'm going to have the conversation knowing I might not get the help that I need. Being willing to hear the no, being willing to hear the yes. And I would challenge anyone here, like, if you think for sure it's going to be a no and like this person isn't going to change their way or definitely not help you, ask anyway. Ask anyway, because sometimes people will surprise you. And sometimes it's not as obvious as you think, right? So it's asking for help, be willing to hear whatever answer is real. Then it's setting up the new relational contract with them. Okay, listen, it doesn't work for me that you're always 20 or 30 minutes late. That makes me feel really disrespected, and it hurts. Like when I'm sitting there, it makes, it's changing the way I feel about this friendship or this time that I'm spending with you. Like, can we change it? Or can you meet me at my house if you're always going to be late and I'm not sitting there alone at a restaurant? Get creative and change the relational contract. And then here's the real kicker with boundaries. So there's 3 steps to boundaries. First is identifying the boundary. Boom. Second is communicating the boundary. And then the third, no one ever wants to do this, but this is the most important part of the process, upholding the boundary. It's not like, well, I told them. Okay, great. Well, if it was easy for them, they would have already been doing it. Like, you have to be like, hey, we had that talk and you said this. I need that from you. Remember that? All right, cool. I need that from you. I need that. Remember when you said this? I need that from you. And be willing to uphold the boundary, because it's not just going to happen as naturally as you think. Sometimes people get so not excited, but they feel strong when they identify it and then they communicate it. I finally said something, and then you think like, oh, the work is done. No. Uphold, uphold, uphold.
Once again, this time Refocus Radio and watching this online. Go to the website. I'm going to give it to you again. Get your free chapter made for magicbook.com. Thanks to our guest, Elizabeth Webb, for that gift for our viewers and audience. We've been talking about conversation, clarity before that happens. You also created a empowered conversation cheat sheet that you can share our audience. Walk us through how someone can make a clean request without apologizing for what they're trying to say to the other person, and also without coming off as too aggressive.
Okay, so I love this question. This cheat sheet is kind of long. I'm going to tell it to you, but that's the reason why I wrote the book. So you can get the book and read through it. And there's also a workbook that goes along with this book for free. So I'll give it to you, but you're going to be like, what were the steps again? Go to the book. So the context of an empowered conversation or making an empowered request is setting the other person up for success so you can actually get your needs met. And this is based on the work of Alison Armstrong. She teaches a version of this. I've simplified some things and like modernized some of the language, but she really studies the male-female dynamic. And when I created the empowered relationships chapter, I really wanted it to be about all relationships. And then there's one just about empowered romance. So I will say this conversation it's mostly for like romantic relationships, but you could probably use a version of it in your day-to-day life as well. Actually, let's not say day-to-day. Let's say a relationship that really matters to you, whether that's with your sister or your best friend. It's an intense conversation. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that it's the right time to have the conversation. So we're not talking heat of the moment. We're not talking that person just walked in from a really stressful meeting. They're not sick or under some sort of duress. So make sure that the other person's like steady and it's like a good neutral moment where you're not too heated, they're not too stressed or whatever. So choose the right moment and then say to them, hey, I want to chat something through with you. Like, is now a good time? Do not ever use the death to communication language, we need to talk. Do not say that. I said to you, we need to talk. What happens in your body?
I'm like, red light just went off.
You're like, oh God, no, I'm in trouble. This is going to be heavy. This is going to suck. So you don't want to put the other person's body in a trauma response because this is all about being effective, right? So you want to choose a time that looks like it's the right time. Then you want to say, hey, is this a good time? If they say yes, you want to state to them what's happening for you and what the need is. So, Shemaya, I'm going to talk you through it. Like you and I are, let's say we're married. Okay, will you be my husband for 3 minutes?
Sure.
Yay. Okay. So I'm going to talk it through like we're married and I want more alone time. I want a date night. Okay. So I would say, catch you at a time where you seem to be in a good place. And I would say like, hey babe, I want to chat something through with you. Is now a good time? Do you have a few minutes?
Absolutely.
Great. So I've been noticing that with like all of the craziness of work and our schedules that we've been missing our date nights. And I really miss those. And I know that it's been on me too. So what am I doing right now? I'm saying without accusation, I'm saying, stating the problem. And I'm saying, this is what's happening. I'm saying like, I'm the problem too. Even if I'm not, it helps to do that. So stating that it's co-created versus you never take me out anymore. Right? So we're stating the problem. We're saying how I feel about it. So it's like, hey, date nights aren't happening. I'm just going to go into the conversation and talk it through, and then I'll break down the steps. Okay. So I've been noticing that we're missing our date nights, and that's making me feel really sad. And I'm noticing like I'm missing you. Like I feel less close to you when we don't have these moments of just togetherness where we're putting our phone away and like we dress up, like when we were first together. And what I would really love is if we could put something in both of our calendars so that we can do something really special, like once every 2 weeks or so. And if we could, what that would provide for me would be something to look forward to with you. Like, I love finding things that are cool in town to go to. And like, that gives me something to pick out a cute outfit for and get dressed up for me and get dressed up for you. And like, it provides just like this kind of tickle of excitement in my life that I've really been missing. And this would just look like us making a date once every 2 weeks, it wouldn't look like, every other day or once a week. It's probably like 3 or 4 hours. And I'm just curious, like, what do you think about us doing that?
I mean, me, I say simple. Let's go right now.
Okay, well, that makes me really happy. Now, is there anything that you need for me to do in order to make this happen? Like, do you need a calendar invite? Do you need anything from me in order to like prioritize this or pull this off?
At that point, I say less. Let's just do it now. I'll take over.
Okay.
You already said enough. Like, boom, you already won me over. It's like, yeah, let's just make it happen. Right.
Okay. So I just did that, like, giddy, sweet. There will be some women that are like annoyed even by how much I said and my tone about how I said it. But why did I do that? I'm involving the other person every step of the way. I'm putting his system and body at ease so he can actually hear what I'm saying. I'm not making accusations. I'm telling him what it looks like and what it doesn't look like. And I asked if he needed any support in pulling it off. Now, some men will say, like, yeah, I need a calendar invite so that I remember, or you know what, like, actually, we need to put that somewhere in the budget and like do less over here so I can take you out and spend $300 or whatever it's going to be. Or we need to get a babysitter and we need to get a babysitter in advance. So you have a moment to handle their rebuttals. But every other step along the way was timing, asking for permission around having the conversation, stating the need in a nonviolent fashion, telling him exactly what it looks like, telling him exactly what it doesn't look like, and then asking what he needs in order to make it happen. And I would say the part that I missed also is being willing to hear a no. He might say, no, I can't do once every 2 weeks. Like, I'm a doctor, I'm on call. Like, it's too crazy. I can do that in 5 years, but right now I can only do once a month. And that sucks, but like, that's the real answer. So anytime we vulnerably come with a request to anybody, whether it's a boundary conversation or trying to get your needs met in an empowered way, we have to be willing to hear a no, because it's a co-created dance and the other person is at choice.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think you guys watching this.
Questions? Was that clear?
Yeah. I think most guys watching this be like, drop everything. We're going tonight. Like,
yeah, let's go now.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm free tonight. No,
because I feel like, to your point, it depends on the person that's saying it. If the person has a history of always looking out for you or being nice and kind and sweet to you, then you're going to have that kind of response that I gave. Oh, drop it. Like, say less. Let's go right now, or let's go tonight. Right. Because at that point, it feels like an urgency for me to step up and say, you know what? I didn't realize that was the case. I didn't realize that's how she felt. So in my mind, it's like, I'm not going to think about this even more. Let's just fix it. That's just me speaking, though. I know people are different, but it does depend on the person. Like, if the person, if she was known to be opposite of what you did, then yeah, maybe he might push away and say, yeah, I'm too busy, I'm swamped, and he can be free, literally free playing Xbox. But because it came from this particular person, he may be like, yeah, I don't have time for that, man. Like, I'm not even interested. I don't care how sweet you are right now. It don't align with how I'm used to seeing you or how I'm used to experiencing, you or whatever. Right. So, yeah, that was a good exercise.
Well, if that's the relational dynamic where the man is no longer trying to please the woman because the woman is impossible to please, I would say re-examine where you're at for both of them.
Yeah.
Like if you can't like pry a date night out of your partner's hands and you asked kindly and effectively, it's time to reevaluate or really get some serious relational help.
Yeah, find new people or something, right?
We're not asking for a kidney over here. Like we're asking for a dinner,
Exactly. That's awesome. Well, once again, listen, I'm folks really watching us online. You can get a free chapter of this book. You thought this was entertainment. You want more entertainment? Go get a free chapter that she's providing for our viewers and our listeners. Go to madeformagicbook.com. That's madeformagicbook.com. We've been talking to our guest, Elizabeth Webb. I can believe time is always melting like ice over here when the conversation's good. I know we didn't cover everything that's in the book, but that's perfect because that's how we have a little cliffhanger and say, hey, that's a nice tease. Make sure you go get you a copy. So without dropping the show too soon, people want to know what else you're doing. If you have any other future projects in the works, what's the best way they can get a newsletter or just keep in touch with you on social media?
So on social media, I'm Positively Elizabeth, and that's website, that's Instagram. I'm probably the most active on Instagram right now. So go to Positively Elizabeth on Instagram. I'm on a lot of podcasts right now, so I'm doing wisdom drops all the time. But also I send out emails called Love Beams where it's really practical stuff that has a lot of juicy stories about my life, about clients' lives, about friends' lives, where I say, hey, a lot of us are feeling this way. This is how we're going to navigate this. And those are called Love Beams. So you can sign up for my Love Beams. They are free. A lot of my work is pretty accessible in that way. I give a lot of free advice on Instagram. The Love Beams are free and the book is under $20. So let's go.
Well, once again, I want to say to our guest, Elizabeth, thank you for spending some time with us. And like always, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
For over 30 years, Point of Grace has shared music, faith, and friendship with listeners across the country. Now Denise, Lee, and Shelley are inviting you into their circle. Welcome to Circle of Friends, the podcast.
It's Point of Grace.
Each week, they're talking real life, current events, stories of true friendship, wisdom from God's Word, and all their favorite things. If you're looking for a little company, a few laughs, and a lot of Jesus to hold it together, Circle of Friends, the podcast, is waiting for you. Subscribe now wherever you listen or watch podcasts, and circle up with Point of Grace.